The Forrester Creations workplace was a hive of activity with constant activity. The company was woven together with new designs, new concepts, and the everlasting drama that could only be conjured up by a fashion empire. All of these elements were connected with one another. It was the arrival of Luna Nozawa that had been the most surprising and mysterious event that had taken place during the most recent collection launch campaign. Luna had worked her way into the heart of the Forrester family, both in terms of the business and the personal lives of its members. She was an intern with a strange past, and she had made her way into the core of the institution. On the other hand, her time had been marked by a peculiar discomfort, a feeling that there was more to her narrative than she had communicated to others. There was more to Luna Nozawa than just being an intern. Her entrance was so flawless that it was almost unreal. Her abilities were indisputable, and her charisma was irresistible. Almost immediately, she became someone who could be confided in, someone who kept secrets, and perhaps most perilously, she was a catalyst for some of the most horrific events that took place in Los Angeles. In spite of this, Luna had one last secret to reveal as her tenure at Forrester Creations was drawing to a close. This secret would leave the Forrester family in a state of disbelief, and it would also alter the fashion industry in a way that would last forever. There was a bright and sunny morning in Los Angeles, the kind of morning that typically heralds a day that is going to be great. However, in regard to Luna Nozawa, this day was anything but exceptional. She knew that today was the day that she would have to face the repercussions of her actions, and the weight of the secrets that she carried had grown intolerable to her. Luna stood in front of the mirror in her flat, which was quite small and unassuming. The haunted and exhausted appearance of her reflection gazed back at her. The lady she saw was not the same one who had entered Forrester Creations just a few short months before. However, she did recognize her. Throughout her life, she had been filled with optimism, ambition, and the desire to leave her mark on the world of fashion. At that moment, the only thing she felt was the crushing weight of guilt. During the time that she was brushing a strand of her jet black hair behind her ear, her thoughts went to the people that she had come to care for, the people whose lives she had disrupted by her presence. In the presence of Hope Logan, whose unflinching generosity had caused Luna's heart to throb, she was aware of the treachery that she was about to commit. In addition, there was Thomas Forrester, the individual whose brilliance and fervor had served as a source of motivation for Luna, but who was also the individual whose world she was about to ruin. Finally, there was Ridge Forrester, the family patriarch, and the individual who had mistakenly accepted the wolf into his family. Ridge Forrester was the one who had received the wolf. A day would come when all of the falsehoods and all of the dishonesty would be put to a stop. It was clear to Luna that once she revealed the shocking information that she had been keeping to herself, there would be no turning back. In the event that the truth were to become public, it would disrupt the delicate equilibrium of power that exists within the Forrester family, and the consequences would be disastrous. The first part of the day at Forrester Creations was just like any other. During the time that everyone was getting ready for the final fittings of the most recent collection, the air was filled with the busy sounds of designers and models. Hoping that everything went off without a hitch, Hope Logan, who had taken on more responsibilities as the co-CEO alongside Steffi Forrester, was focused on making sure that everything went off without a hitch. There was an underlying tension in Hope's movements today, despite the fact that she had always been the pinnacle of grace no matter what the circumstances were. It was impossible for her to shake the impression that something was peculiar. It could have been the mysterious message that she had gotten from Luna the previous evening, in which she requested to meet with her in private. Alternatively, it could have been the fact that Thomas had been acting distant recently, as if his mind was elsewhere. Hope was unable to shake the feeling of dread that had taken up residence in the bottom of her stomach, regardless of what it was. Hope noticed Luna standing in the corner of the design studio. Luna's face was pale, and her eyes were far away. Hope was making her way through the design studio. Hope was impressed by the somewhat peculiar manner in which the young intern carried himself. On previous occasions, she had witnessed Luna in a state of tension. After all, this was the fashion industry. Nevertheless, today was different. The vulnerability that she possessed was something that Hope had never witnessed before. As Hope approached Yuna, she yelled out, "Yuna, are you okay?" when she finally reached her. In the moment that she looked up, Yuna's eyes met Hope's with a mixture of sadness and determination. "I'm doing well, Hope. I simply have a lot on my mind." Hope gave a slight nod, recognizing that there was more to the narrative, but she did not wish to press the issue. "I'm here for you if you feel the need to talk." The knowledge of what was to come caused Yuna's heart to ache, and she managed to scrape up a feeble grin. "Hope, I am grateful. I am grateful for it." However, before Hope could say anything else, Thomas Forrester entered the room, and his presence held the attention of everyone present, as it always does. He fixed his focus on Luna, and for a little moment, there was a wordless interchange between them. It was a recognition that today would bring about a shift in everything. In the later part of that afternoon, Yuna found herself standing outside the door to Ridge Forrester's office, her hand shaking as she raised it to knock on the door. This meeting was something that she had sought before, as she was aware that if she was going to expose the truth, it had to be to the individual who held the highest position. The idea of betraying Ridge, who had been a guide and someone she had grown to genuinely admire, filled her with dread. Ridge had been someone she had looked up to and respected. It was Ridge's voice that shouted out from within, "Come in." After taking a few deep breaths, Yuna pushed open the door and entered the building. Ridge was concentrating his attention on a pile of design sketches that was in front of him while he was seated behind his enormous oak business desk. There was a warm smile spreading across his face as he looked up as Yuna entered the room. "Please come in, Luna. What else can I do to assist you?" Inquiring while indicating for her to take a seat, he queried. As she sat down, Yuna could feel her heart racing in her chest. She had gone through this particular moment 1,000 times in her head, but now that she was actually present, it felt as though she was unable to recall the words. Yuna began by saying, "Mr. Forrester," in a trembling voice, "I need to talk to you about something important, something that could change everything." A look of anxiety took the place of Ridge's smile as it began to fade. "Yuna, what exactly is it? It's terrifying to see you." Yuna took a deep breath and forced herself to look directly into his eyes. "All of you, as well as everyone else in this room, have been kept in the dark about something. I had no intention of things reaching this point, but now I don't have a choice that I can make." This caused Ridge's eyes to narrow as he leaned forward. "What exactly are you talking about to me, Yuna?" The burden of the truth was crushing down on Yuna, and she hesitated on the subject. She was aware, however, that if she did not say it now, she would never say it again. Yuna eventually admitted, with a voice that was scarcely audible above a whisper, that she was not who you believed she was. "I came here with a purpose, and it wasn't enough for me to simply learn about fashion," she said. As Ridge's mind raced to put together the pieces of what she was saying, his countenance became even darker. "What exactly do you mean?" As Yuna prepared herself to reveal the shocking information that she was going to reveal, she took a deep breath. "Mr. Forrester, I am very much more than just an intern. My link to the Forrester family is the reason I am here, yet none of you are aware of this connection." Ridge's eyes widened as conflicting emotions of astonishment and perplexity raged within of him. "How is this connected? I don't understand what you're talking about." Yuna, unable to continue to bear his eyes, looked down at her hands yet continued to do so. My name is Ridge, and I am your daughter." Due to the weight of the remarks, the atmosphere in the room became oppressive. The words lingered in the air like a dark cloud. Ridge was unable to comprehend what he had just observed, and his mind was spinning as he peered at Yuna. "Who is my daughter?" The reverberation of Ridge's voice was raspy. "Yuna, that is not even on the table. Should I have another child, I would be aware of it." She looked up, tears welling up in her eyes. Yuna looked up. "You were not intended to know, which is why you were unaware of it. The fact that my mother did not reveal it to you or anyone else is a mystery." The thoughts that were going through Ridge's head were completely out of control. "Who is your mother exactly? Why did she not tell me about it?" Yuna hesitated, the agony of the past once again coming to the surface. Masako Nozawa is the name of the woman. Although she was working as a model in Japan at the time, she had an affair with you many years ago when you were extending Forrester Creations into international markets. It was because she did not want to cause any disruption to your life or your family that she chose not to tell you about me. Ridge felt his heart pounding in his chest as the memories came flooding back to him. These were recollections of a very brief but intense affair that he had with a woman that he had met when he was traveling. Nevertheless, he had never in his wildest dreams thought that the time they spent together would result in a child that he had no idea existed. The phrase, Yuna, I. In the midst of a maelstrom of emotions, Ridge struggled to find the words to express himself. If you had told me sooner, why didn't you? Why did you omit this information from me? Despite the fact that her voice was shaking, Yuna admitted, because I didn't know how. I did not come here with the idea of unveiling who I am for the first time. To get a better understanding of the kind of man my father was, I simply desired to experience what it was like to be a part of your world. However, the more I remained in this location, the more I became aware of the fact that I could not continue to live this lie. Ridge leaned back in his chair, having 1,000 ideas running through his head at the same time. In addition to his daughter, he had another child, although he was unaware of her existence. The epiphany was so stunning that he was at a loss for words to describe how he felt about it.